out there's in trouble.
They've made a few changes. The story's the same.
Black, you look familiar. We have a small chance of making it.
So loitering in the parking lot of some shitty diner is key to saving the world now?
No. She is.
When you go on Westworld, you don't know where you'll end up.
Us as actors are typically as surprised sometimes as the audience when they see the episodes.
In season 4, I've had the opportunity to be a little ruthless. That was really fun for me to play.
One of the things that we've been working towards for a while here is, turnabout is fair play. The hosts have been created and subjugated by human beings from the beginning. They've escaped. And Hale has decided that the best way to deal with human beings is to make sure that you control them.
Let's take her to the barn with the rest of the livestock.
We used the barn at Will Rogers State Park in Pacific Palisades. And the conversation started very interesting because when we are talking to the rangers, the first thing I had to let them know was that there would be some deceased horses on the property.
When Anastasia is sort of taking apart the horses, that was a set deck thing. They found the prop horses, and then we did some blood on them and everything and made sure that there was some realism tied in as interaction with her so that her hands could be inside the horse and taking pieces and entrails out. It's a real messy show this season.
Free me.
I can't do that.
You don't have a choice.
I think in a similar way to what we saw Dolores do last season is to create this sort of copy of Hale. Hale this season needs a minion. She needs someone sort of to do her bidding.
I think that Hale's appreciation and almost sentimental hanging on to the man in black is also a symptom of her loneliness.
The revival of the Man in Black being kept as a pet by Hale was something that we discussed with Lisa and Jonah, and they really wanted to look back to the previous Vitruvian Man rig from season 1 during host making, but sort of push that into preservation, a cryo chamber of sorts. We worked with Mark Byers in special effects and Jeff Schubert in construction to create that rig, which was fully practical.
We do all of it, all the opening and closing and all of the cryo, all mechanically, and none of it's VFX.
When the Vitruvian reel closes up, they pump in a bunch of gas, but you can't have a person in there when you do that. So it has to look like Ed so that they can get the effect in there. So we needed to create a body double of the Man in Black. We do all these little details that sort of make the Man in Black who he is, which is really cool.
Our Man in Black this season wasn't really the Man in Black very much. So the idea was when he was the human, there was just a little bit more skin coming through, a little bit more imperfection. When he was the host, he's just a little more polished. It's a little more corrective, the makeup.
I'm pleased to announce Delos Destinations has expanded its footprint.
A really interesting challenge that we faced this year was there was a mirror of previous seasons. So we went to the park the same way that William and Logan did in episode 102 through a secret train car. And so one of the challenges we had this season was how do we show that same sort of progression and a storyline that the audience is familiar with, but also surprise the audience yet again. So in episode 2, when Maeve and Caleb go to the opera and we have this theatrical experience, and then they descend down the stage into the hallway and go into the bar or the speakeasy. How do we not tip off to the viewers too soon that it's a bar, but yet we use the same gag with a door at the end of the hall? And so this season was constantly exploring those previous foundations, but then trying to find a new textural way to portray it.
When I read the script that I'm on this train and I go into the fitting room and there's a host helping me get dressed and asks me if I want to choose a white hat or a black hat. You know, as a massive fan of the show, that scene in particular was very exciting for me.
We shot at the exact same place where we shot our Western, Sweetwater, and we wanted to extend on either side of the street, the city a little more, so we put some blue screens there so we were able to extend the look of it to give, when you're on that street, a little more scope.
Very excited about the idea of the Roaring Twenties as another arena, but also a palette in the sense there of a world that's sort of celebrating itself to death.
I got so excited to come to Melody Ranch where we shoot. That's where they, had the whole Sweetwater set and all of the original Westworld. So the first time I walked onto that dirt, they had already changed it to just this 1920s beautiful vibe.